everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel AI Stories by Anjali. In today's video, we are going to see a more similar video what we have seen in our last week. If you remember, in our last week, we have discussed how you can use a BERT, that is bidirectional encoded representation of transformer model for doing embeddings. That means how you can convert your text data into embeddings and how you can handle a simple sentimental analysis data by building a simple machine learning model. So this week is more similar to that. Instead of BERT model, we are using OpenAI model for converting your text into the embeddings. And also we are using the sentimental analysis data. We are building a model called Gaussian model. So let us dive deep into the video. Before going to that, I would like to thank to all my subscribers who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, and also requesting to the new watchers to please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel AI Stories by Anjali. So let us dive deep into the video. So firstly, before going to start any project, the initial thing that we have to remember is we have to install the required libraries. So these are the required libraries that you need to install before doing your project. So the required libraries include OpenAI. As I mentioned, we are using OpenAI model for converting the text data into embeddings. And the second thing is S3FS. And the next thing is scikit-learn. So these three are the required libraries that you should install for your project. And the next thing is you have to import the S3FS as well as pandas data frame, and then you have to read the data, that is sentiment underscore data. For reading any file, you have to use this syntax using pandas data frame. So this is the S3 location that I'm using. Instead of that, you can use any GitHub link or any URL, or simply you can download the dataset file on your local machine and you can give the path for that. And then I'm just printing the shape of the data. So my data consists of 100 rows with the 2 columns, and simple head I'm printing to see the first 5 rows. So head will give you the first 5 rows and tail will give the last 5 rows. So you are having 2 columns, that is text as well as sentiment, and these are the sentiment values. So this is the text data, and the text is also text. Okay, so sentiment is your target variable. The next thing that I'm doing is I'm just printing a simple graph. That means I'm visualizing how many positive, negative as well as a neutral sentiments are there in my sentiment column. So these are the statistics. So I'm having 35 samples, more than 35 samples for my positive label, and neutral is having around 35, and this negative samples are having like 27 or 28, something like that. So this is the simple graph that will tell you how many labels are there in your sentiment column. The next thing is I'm using a label encoder. So if you remember in the last video, I have told you whenever you have any categorical columns in your data, the first thing that you have to do is you have to convert those categorical columns into the numerical values. Why? Because a machine learning algorithm cannot understand any text thing. Everything we have to convert into numerical values. So that is the main purpose of converting the categorical columns into the numerical values. So we have label encoder. So there are different types of encoders like label encoder, original like one-hot encoder, dummy encoding, etc. So I'm using the label encoder. So I'm using the column, like specifying my column, that is my sentiment column, and then I'm I'm doing the label encoding. Okay, so this is the output. So the sentiment is like 0, 1, 2. The 0 is for positive, 1 is for 0, 1 and 2. Yes, 0 is for positive, 1 is for negative, and 2 is for neutral, like that. And this is the output. So your sentiment column is converted into the numerical values. Okay. So the next thing is specifying your API key. So as I mentioned, if you see the video of a first coding video on my channel, I have shown you how you can grab the API key from the OpenAI website. If you haven't watched it, please go and watch the video and then come here. So grab the OpenAPI key and paste your key here. And then coming here, you are specifying your input text and you're initializing the client by using the OpenAI method. And then you're calling the embeddings.create method by specifying your text as well as the model. So the model that we are using is a text embedding EDA-002. So text embedding EDA-002 is the model of OpenAI which will help you to convert the text data into the embeddings. And then you're just printing your type of your embeddings, and then I'm just calling my response.data of embedding. So that means my first the first value of the embedding, and then I'm just printing the length of your embedding. So I haven't do the running at pre-running for some cells, so that's why it's there like that. But of course you'll get obviously the output for the other cells which I will be showing now. So my dimensions are 1536 of your response, like your embeddings what you have converted. So for defining your embeddings, like for sending your embeddings, you can use this function too, like get embeddings and input of model text embedding EDA, and embedding response is equal to client.create input model and return this thing. So for my, like, these both are same, but why I'm showing this is the thing what you have done, just I'm specifying that in the function, so that whenever you're using the same thing in the other part of the project, then you can use the same function for converting your text data into embeddings. So you can call get embeddings function by calling the input text. So the sentence that I'm using is cats and dogs for calling my embeddings, and I'm converting the embeddings into the numerical values. So this function will simply helps you to convert the text data into the numerical values by using OpenAI embedding model, that is text embedding EDA-002. Okay, and then coming to the data frame, I'm just creating a column called vectors and converting my text column to the numerical value. So if you observe the output, this is a vector column that I have created, and for the equivalent text, we are creating the equivalent vector values. And then I'm just differentiating my input variable, which is X, and my target variable, which is Y. So the input variables are vectors, text as well as sentiment, and my the vectors as well as text, and my output variable is sentiment. And then I'm just printing the shape, that is x dot shape and y dot shape. So in my x dot shape and y dot shape, I'm having this many rows and the column. And then I'm just printing the x dot head, and then I'm having the y dot head. So the thing why I'm specifying only vectors, because the text is nothing but the vector, because you're converting your text into the numerical values. So no need to use this, and you can simply use the vectors, the numerical values. So that's why I'm separating my vector, which is my input variable, as well as my output variable is sentiment. Okay. And then I'm just printing and seeing the output for what is there in X and Y after separating. And then as I mentioned, in any machine learning model, the thing that you have to do is you have to convert your data before sending it to the model to two different parts. One is training data and second is testing data. So training data is used to fit the data into your model. That means for model understanding, and testing data is used to see how far your model is working on your testing data. So this is how the machine learning process works. So we are using the scikit-learn method, that is a train underscore test underscore split, and this is the syntax. And usually, as I mentioned, the 25% of the data set will goes for testing data, and the remaining 75% will go for training data. So this is how usually it works. Of course, you can do 80 also, like 80% and 20%, but usually this works like that. And then as I mentioned, I'm using Gaussian NB model to fit my data. So I have defined the model, and then I have initialized that, and then I fitted, as I told, we will use training data for fitting. So I pass it the X train and Y train. And once I'm done with that, I use that testing data for my predictions, and then I have calculated the metrics, that is accuracy as well as F1 score. So the accuracy is 56% and the F1 score is 56.4%. And similarly, I have used a neural network model too. That neural network for SKLM. Remember, neural network can be built through various libraries, like through PyTorch, Keras, and even with scikit-learn. In scikit-learn, the neural network is defined as MLP Classifier. So I'm using that for passing my fitting my data. That is so same. Instead of Gaussian NB, we are using MLP Classifier. That's the only difference between the model, like the upper model what I showed you, and this one. Okay, and similarly I'm just passing the training data and then calculating the metrics, that is accuracy and F1 score. So here is 76 and 77. So among these two models, the MLP classifier is giving good results, because if you see, this is 56 and this is 76 and this is 77. Okay, and there are many ways to see what is the best model and what is the best metric for your data. So that I will post in our data science and AI/ML series about selecting the best metric. So as of now, just keep it simple. So what is the highest value that which model is giving? So that is the best model. Okay, and for the best metric, please ignore as of now. I will show in that video, and then we will see, okay, in our further projects. So as of now, MLP classifier is performing better when compared to Gaussian NB model, and the MLP classifier is yielding the result of accuracy 76% and F1 score of 77.59%. So in this way, you can use an open AI embedding model, that is text embedding -ADA002 model, for converting your text data into embeddings. And this is how you can build a simple model using scikit-learn on the sentiment data. I hope you understand this video. So please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, AI Stories by Anjali. And also I would request to the people who are watching my videos, please comment in the comment section about what kind of videos that you need from me. So thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you.